Do you just want October?
It's not.
Because we didn't.
No, this is Board of Public Safety.
Well,
Oh, what did you need?
if you
Mission
can
on
skim
system.
over anything that would be important for us to know from September, since we didn't meet, but I'll leave it to you.
I'll quickly skim over September. September adult arrests were up. Juvenile referrals stayed the same. Domestic violence cases did increase, and we had no reported UTR hate crimes in September. We also had 1,009 training hours. for
Oh,
September.
excuse me, I'm sorry, and I meant to actually email you about this.
Yep.
Can you go back 2 pages, please? Why are we comparing September, just last month? Oh, because normally we compare year to year by month, each of the months, it's
Mhm.
year to year comparison.
So I don't have an exact answer for that.
Okay,
I will.
you're just reporting this is what happened the
Yeah.
last 2 months?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So that was pretty much September. October. October, our total calls for service, year to year. I do have that number if you don't have it. Our total calls for service for 2022 were 5,482, and then 21 they were 4,275. So a significant increase in total calls for service.
Are you running the deck?
no.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't following.
I'm not sure what else you guys would like to have from these. Again, adult arrests were up in October, year to date, and juvenile referrals increased in October from 21 to 22. And domestic violence calls have also increased. And we had no reported hate crimes. So overall, our calls for service have increased significantly compared to 21 in the past 2 months, and that's been the trend for the entire year.
And to what do you attribute it?
So a variety of things. Some of the calls for services have been nuisance calls where we've seen just more noise complaints, party complaints, that kind of thing as we came out of COVID. People coming out of COVID being more active, both the general population and obviously folks who may be committing crimes. So that's continues to be the trend that we see for the increase in calls. We had 173 training hours in the month of October, which that's an increase by 100 training hours compared to 21. We had a number of community engagement events in October. Our social workers presented at IU. We participated in the Out of Darkness Suicide Prevention Walk. We did a Coffee with Cop event at Beltrace Nursing Home. And we participated in a breast cancer awareness walk and a canvas of the Green Acres neighborhood with hand. Our social workers had 24 referrals and a total of 227 contacts for the month of October. Attached in the packet are numerous public accommodations and thank yous from some of those events and other events we've had through the month of October.
it might be worth noting the decrease in social work, the contacts and overall referrals for this time period in October can probably be attributed to one of the social workers got married and was out for, I think, 2 or 2.5 weeks. So that took her out basically half a month. And then the senior social worker presented with Chief Dekoff at the International Association of Chiefs of Police. So she was actually gone for basically a week in Dallas, Texas, presenting there. So
She also presented in Boston at a conference. So she's been out.
Yeah. Thank you.
lots of good feedback and lots of interested agencies from the International Association of Chiefs of Police. I'm sure Chief could speak to that, but it was nice to see people looking to Bloomington for kind of a way to establish a social work program and get them embedded within a police agency, and just another caretaking function of the police department that many other agencies are certainly interested in.
How do you stay connected to those people that you meet at the conference that have similar programs so you can share?
So I guess we can kind of transition to general business, and I'll talk about that. So we got asked to present on our social worker program at the International Chiefs Conference in Dallas. Melissa and I did that. It truly is an international conference. There are a lot of people that come from other countries to this conference. It's mostly police executives. They had probably, I would say, 10,000 people probably in attendance. So we presented on our program, how to start a program. It was.
You presented in front of 2,000 people?
I'm sorry?
You presented in front of
That's how many people
Oh,
attended
sorry.
at the conference.
Okay.
We probably had, I guess, 75 people maybe at our session.
Still a lot.
Yeah, especially since it was first day, last class of the day. And again, it's one of those things where we exchange business cards. We also advertised our social worker conference that we had, what is today? 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis. That was very well attended. We had 130 people representing 24 different states that attended to that conference. That's the second one we've done. So there's a lot.
You organized it.
I'm sorry?
You organized that.
Yeah, the social workers, I don't. But the social workers,
I mean, yeah, but you sponsored.
they organized it.
Yeah.
In the midst of that, right after that conference, Melissa presented at I think it was a rural health conference in Boston. And she's been very busy talking about our program and explaining it and getting other people interested. We're in the process of trying to get a national association set up so that that group can take over the planning of the conference.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But in that regards, things are going very well. So we've had some successful presentations earlier this year in July. We also presented at the National Noble Conference, which is the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, and that was in July in Orlando. A lot of positive feedback there, a lot of interest from that group and those attendees. So it's catching on. People are seeing the benefits of having these types of programs in their department. So that's one thing.
Is there any way that we can support those efforts?
Just keep talking about them. I also, just to let you know, was appointed by the governor to the Law Enforcement Training Board recently. So that is the board that oversees the training academy and the all things training in the state of Indiana. So that's, I think, an important thing that I'll get to lend my voice to.
Amazing. Great.
Lots been going on, so I'm trying to remember everything. You may have heard talk about the purchase of the showers, the CFC part of showers, and the police department moving over there. That's progressing forward. Can't tell you what's going to happen with it because there's still a lot of things up in the air. But that's being discussed. And I think that's it. Anything else? That's in a different part.
Alrighty. How about purchases, expenditures, procurements, anything we should be?
Have you gotten any emails recently that you can remember? There might have been one about lockers.
About what?
Lockers?
I don't remember any locker discussions.
Well, there was a locker purchase because it was from the flood from last year, and it's just taking that long to get everything done. So I think I remember seeing an email maybe over the last month or so about that, but nothing
Okay.
that I can think that stands out.
Just keep your eye on a large purchase of
Lockers.
of the other side of this building
Yeah.
is the real
Yeah.
big one.
That I don't think would probably go through us. That would
No,
be.
no, that's a
So-
whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, not under our purview, that's for sure. All right, personnel issues.
We still remain, we're at 81 full-time officers right now. We also have a hiring process underway for community service specialists. Actually, we have 3 that the local pension board, I'm sorry, going back to sworn, there's 3 the local pension board approved yesterday that I'll be sending to the state tomorrow for acceptance or transfer into our pension fund, and then hopefully we can get these 3 individuals started as sworn officers. And then from the hiring the hiring process, it was an open process. It was not just sworn, it was anyone who wished to apply. That began in August of this year. There's 5 candidates that I'd asked the board for consideration to give conditional offers of employment to. They have successfully completed the process up through the background investigation phase, so it would just be contingent upon them completing the rest of the hiring process.
All 5 of them have completed.
All 5 have successfully completed the background investigation phase. Yeah, so they would be moving forward.
All right. Can I get a motion to extend a conditional offer of employment as a sworn officer to Jeffrey J.R. Ridgway, contingent upon his successful completion of the remaining steps of the hiring process?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I thought the candidate was incredible. Very excited and hope that they stay.
Jasmine, will you please call the roll?
Trudy? Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Mukweba?
Yes.
Isak?
Yes. Having said that.
That motion. That's a surprise. That motion carries.
No.
Can I get a motion to extend a conditional offer of employment as a sworn officer to Casey Hofer, contingent upon his successful completion of the remaining steps of the hiring process?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Jasmine, will you please call the roll?
Trudy? Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Mukweba?
Yes.
Isak?
Yes.
That motion carries. Can I get a motion to extend a conditional offer of employment as a sworn officer to Jonathan Beaker, contingent upon his successful completion of the remaining steps of the hiring process?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Jasmine, will you please call the roll?
Trudy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Mukweba?
Yes.
Isak?
Yes.
That motion carries. Can I get a motion to extend a conditional offer of employment as a sworn officer to Caleb Freeman, contingent upon his successful completion of the remaining steps of the hiring process?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Jasmine, will you please call the roll?
Trudy?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just slow on the unmute.
Kim?
Yes.
Mukweba?
Yes.
Isak?
Yes.
That motion carries. Can I get a motion to extend a conditional offer of employment as a sworn officer to Derek Davis, contingent upon his successful completion of the remaining steps of the hiring process?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Jasmine, will you please call the roll?
Trudy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes,
Aquila,
Yes.
Isak.
Yes.
that motion carries. Is there a CERT ARV deployment report?
There is, on September 20th of this year, we deployed the vehicle during the standoff with the male subject who was barricaded in the storm drain system under Bloomington. If you remember, we had the downtown area shut down for several hours, trying to locate this person, and he was taken into custody with no issues. And then on October 25th, we deployed the vehicle on a call out during a warrant service involving an individual who was armed with a handgun. He had almost 4 pounds of meth, 9 grams of heroin, 100 grams of fentanyl pills, and other illegal drugs were recovered in the warrant, and he was arrested without incident as well.
All right, now under fire department business.
I just want to give them an opportunity, if y'all want to do your appreciations, because y'all had a couple.
Okay.
Did y'all want to go over them, or?
One was an appreciation from the Special Olympics for the participation of the Cop on a Rooftop that we did a little bit earlier this summer. And that's always fun. That's from an actual athlete, a Special Olympics athlete that sent that thank you message. One was from Belle Trace for participating in the Coffee with a Cop. And I believe the third was from a lady in which we had some officers respond to her house on an alarm. I think it was about 3:30 in the morning, and she was just very appreciative of how nice they were and how they took care of her. So it's always nice to get those.
Sorry, Kim.
And if we could skip to October, that would be perfect, because most of it's going to be covered in this packet. Okay, operational statistics through October, 4,156 calls in the city, 626 calls to Indiana University, 41%, the majority of those were EMS calls. And next.
A quick question.
Yeah.
Are most of those in the Student Recreational Sports Center or the Garrett Fieldhouse, the EMS? Do you know?
I don't know offhand. I don't think so.
No, okay.
Or we would try to mitigate that situation, I
Okay,
think, if
all right.
we knew that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will look into that for you.
Oh, thanks.
Indiana University, 626 calls to Indiana University. Majority of those were what we were considering in this chart as false alarm. But again, as I pointed out before, smoke detectors rarely make mistakes. They are set off for some reason or another, and they're pretty standardized. So anyway, so 64% of those. Next, please. So in response times goals, the one that really stands out to me is the 480 seconds. This is what ISO looks at as a full total response force with 2 engines, a ladder truck, a squad, and a battalion. So you're talking about multiple crews getting there all within 480 seconds. That's a standard across the United States. We can get better at a few other things, but that's something that we really hang our hat on right there.
Some of these response times, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we're down from months previous. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so, and I've missed the last couple months here as far as the statistics, but one of the things I think that we have ran into here and there, one is the displacement with, not having a ladder truck downtown. The other is in the situation that we are in a law office building that we've made a temporary headquarters. From a logistical standpoint, to actually get to the engine, it takes a little longer, that sort of thing. So, I think that's one of the things. I think the road construction that we have in town also varies with that as well. And sometimes too, we're a little busier than we have been in the past. Our call volume has gone up, spiked up quite a bit since COVID. And so sometimes crews are coming back from a previous call. They might have been across the city, but they're now reporting back to the closest place to So one of the things we do have is we have an AVL that does pinpoint the closest unit. It dispatches the closest unit to that call, so that helps us out with that. But as far as the what we're talking about with the actual structure fire, which is one of the main things that ISO is concerned about, we also are concerned about EMS calls, but the turnout times. So when we talk about turnout time, it's literally from the time you get dispatched to that call, from the time you leave or mark in route on your engine. So there's a standard for that. There's a standard for the processing for dispatch, you know, that they have to have, you know, it's usually within 80 or 90 seconds that they have to get that call out. And then sometimes the information that the caller has, you know, some people, we have about 50,000 that aren't real familiar with Bloomington. So what they may call College Avenue might actually be College Mall Road.
50,000 dispatchers?
No, the 50,000 students,
Yeah.
that are not, you know, yeah. So, so a lot of times, you know, the dispatchers can only do with what the information that they've been given as well. So we have that, you know, Smith Avenue is different than Smith Street, you know, those types of things. So, but again, as far as the structure fire goes, meeting that 480 seconds, having everybody there, the full cavalry, so to speak, is huge, and that's what we're judged by a lot of times.
And just to cycle back to the last one, just for our awareness, the
Yeah.
gas leak, did we find, I mean, how was that all resolved, and what was the?
So initially, and this is my understanding from reports, initially the gas leak was identified at Dillman Road, and they retraced it back to the area around Patterson and 3rd Street. And it was a really significant leak. It was mitigated in about a day and a half. My understanding, you know, and I'm no environmental expert or anything, but my understanding is that it has turned out pretty well too with what they're looking into with all of the testing that's been done by IDEM and that sort of thing. But it was a significant leak that, and I won't get into how they end up finding it necessarily, but that we end up finding it and retracing it back. And I think it's going to be a significant insurance claim and some other things that will go on. So there's some things I can't really speak about it as far as that goes, but it was a significant leak. And our crews did a good job.
This is not the first time that that's happened at that location.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, most of us, I think that maybe grew up around here with the PCPs and the creeks, the Clear Creek and that sort of thing. You know, those leaks are kind of scary, or they can be, you know, so you worry about those things. But our crews did a good job, and I think CBU did a great job, and IDEM came down and helped us out as well. So, next. Okay, inspection goal progress. Not quite where we want to be, but we're a lot better than we were last year. That's by adding a deputy fire marshal who's doing, my understanding, a really great job. We do have another one budgeted position for next year, so we expect those numbers to go up.
Is that 2 FTEs?
Yeah. So we're really excited about that. We got 7,700 Facebook likes. I assume that's good. I'm not positive. So we're up from last year, so that's a good thing, I guess. Adults educated, as you can see, there's a tremendous difference in children and adults educated from 2021, 2022. So we're making some progress on that. And that's a wonderful thing to see. So next. Oh, and looky there. We found that we were deficient in some training hours, and looks like we're back up to where we wanted to be again. So anyway, we're past our goal there, so we're back on the right track there, looks like.
Back in the blue.
Yeah, back in the blue. So ISO compliance, we're doing a great job in our training hours. As you can see, there's, you know, over 12,000 hours in just the ISO compliance for firefighters. So we're doing a really nice job there. Next. Letters of appreciation, accommodation. Let me, I, this, I am going to read this one because, yeah, I don't get this very often, so I am going to have to read this. This is from the deputy police chief, the newly appointed deputy police chief, Scott Oldham. Anyway, we had the incident downtown, as Chief Dieckhoff talked about. Our crews assisted BPD, and they did a wonderful job doing what they do. And we were there as support and did all we could. And it was a while, but obviously we were there for support, and we appreciate Deputy Chief Oldham's kind words.
And that was the day of our meeting.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Sweating. I said, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, mm.
And ServPro, they would like to thank us for our service community. That's awful nice of them. And then Boys and Girls Club of Bloomington presents Boys to Men. There are several little letters and things of appreciation. Thanks for taking the time to set up and take down the tables and chairs for Boys to Men event. All of you are so wonderful, and I appreciate the help so much. The event raised $220,000.
That's great.
So it really is. It's a great event. We're proud to be a part of that. A lot of it is we go and we help them set up the tables and the chairs, and then we take them down for them. And it is a great event, and obviously, almost $250,000. That's really great. So, next. And we were not spraying children in this, so anyway, we were. The pictures could look deceiving there. No, we went obviously to the Harmony School, showed them ladder truck, and we did spray a little bit of water in a safe place that was marked off, and our K through 12, looks like K through 2 students, everyone loved it. Thank you for bringing so much excitement, especially at that age. The kids really do warm up to the fire trucks and stuff. So. Okay. General business. We have a couple things here. If I can find it. Well, one of the things that we're looking at, as I grab my notes, is we are putting in for a state grant. A grant that's with the state, is through ARPA as well. It's for a mobile integrated healthcare program. Fire departments are specifically mentioned in it. There are some that are for hospitals as well. There's nearly $15 million out for grabs. We've been encouraged by the state to put in for it. We are one of the only fire departments in South Central and Southern Indiana, all the way to Scott County, that would be eligible for this. So we feel, like we are in a good position to possibly get some grant money and kind of advance that program a little faster than we thought we were going to be able to.
What program?
It's our mobile integrated healthcare workers. So it's based on community paramedicine. Yeah. If that makes any sense. So we're just starting. We just started. We just hired 2 people. We have 2 more on in the hiring budget for next year, and this grant, if possible, would greatly enhance that timeline for us to really cover some of the healthcare gaps that are in the community with health equity concerns. So
Is this a trend across the country, similar to this?
it's in the fire department's been a trend now for approximately 15 years. Started really more out in the western part of the United States. Community paramedicine, mobile integrated healthcare works really well in rural areas, but they found how in urban areas that they could also maximize those uses with again, regards to health equity and those types of things. So with, marginalized groups and that sort of. So we are hoping to help fill those healthcare gaps. There are a lot in this community, I think, that we can, make an impact on, but it's going to be slow. But if we are able to get, a sizable grant, I think we can really expedite, our expectations on what we might be able to accomplish. So, so that, and then we have station renovations going on. We just finished up Station 5 renovation to the tune of around $40,000. Additionally, we had already appropriated around $49,000, so the project ran about $100,000 total from this year's money and last year's money. Station 2 renovation is getting ready to start, more than likely not next week because it's Thanksgiving week, but the week after. And so it's been bidded out and awarded, and that project is going to be a little over $100,000. And then we have a Station 4 project that is being bidded out sometime before the end of the month, and that's going to be closer to, it's going to be a sizable renovation.
Is that BIU?
It's the one off of 3rd Street across from St. Charles.
Oh.
Yep. So those things are going on right now, and so that's really our general business at this point.
Any particular expenditures or purchases?
Again, you're going to see approximately $45,000 for a Station 5 renovation. There's going to be approximately $100,000 for vehicles. We just did receive and put in service our F-150. So it can be the squad and it can be the battalion. It can replace both of those. Can act as either one of those. We ordered those last July. And yeah. And the irony in this whole thing too is we did have the opportunity to get the vehicles. It's on the back. Yeah.
You just
That's
munched it
okay.
together.
I get it. It's up there.
Okay.
So we did have the opportunity to cancel our order, get newer vehicles, maybe off the lots, and it was going to cost us around $25,000 more to do that because there was not going to be a bidded out process, and they were going to take at least retail on it.
Yeah.
So, and so those are our expenditures.
Who are you buying through?
Well, a lot of times we do it through a cooperative or, some sort of cooperative where it's already been bidded out, a QPA. We usually use a local vendor who's already done that work for us, but sometimes there's national HGAC, there's a lot of national organizations that have already bidded it out for you. But again, like I said, most of those are not honoring those any longer for those bids. So we're in different waters, that's for sure.
All righty, under personnel issues.
That's the only one that we have at the moment.
Yeah. Can I get a motion to promote Anthony Greathouse to the rank of captain effective November 14th, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Jasmine, will you please call the roll?
Trudy,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
McLewa,
Yes.
Isak.
Yes.
that motion carries.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Garrett is his nickname, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We have no old business, I don't think. Any new business? Any petitions and communications from the public?
Doesn't appear that we have any public.
Okay. You're good? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There you go.
Thank you.